Welcome to another episode of Bonus Features for Two Dudes in Movie. I am Luke Parrish.
AJ Ferguson.
And I'm Paul Tabling.
And today we are talking about our best of Hulu. So that's our top 5 movies, our top 5 shows. Yeah, they do that, according to Baker Mayfield.
Dude, according to every famous athlete on the planet.
Yeah.
My favorite commercial is the Joel Embiid commercial. It's like, Mr. Embiid, why'd you change your nickname? He's like, for the money. And they're like, Hulu has live sports. It's like, Hulu has live sports. It's amazing. It's so funny. Okay, TV shows first?
Yeah, let's get right into it.
Okay, my honorable mention is Late Night with Jimmy Fallon.
Nice.
So the best thing about Hulu to me is the whole like network TV on a streaming service. It's kind of like having your own DVR.
Yeah.
I never had DVR because we didn't have cable, so there was nothing to DVR. But it's cool to have like Saturday Night Live, stinking like Jeopardy and random junk like that's on there.
Yep.
But like Late Night with Jimmy Fallon, I usually don't watch late night TV at night. Normally, I usually watch it on YouTube or Facebook or on Hulu. So for me, it's an honorable mention. I love Jimmy Fallon, one of my favorite people around.
Yep.
Have you guys watched any of his home stuff? It's pretty funny. It's okay.
No.
It's not great, but he does like a session with like his wife. It's like Ask the Fallons. That's by far the best thing they do. It's like 10 minutes long. It's really funny because she's pretty funny actually.
Really?
I expected her to just be like, okay.
Well, hopefully living with a comedian like
she's
that.
pretty funny.
Right.
But anyway, that's an honorable mention for me. I love Jimmy Fallon. So.
All right. My honorable mention is Letterkenny.
Never heard of
You
it.
guys heard of that?
No.
So it's a comedy about these like country boys, like Canadian country boys.
Nice.
And it's very dry humor. It's I compare it to it's just dry humor, no laugh track or anything. It's a lot of Canadian humor. Like the very first episode, these guys in a Jeep pull up and there's these douchebags and they're hockey players because in Canada it's like the douchebags, so they sit there and make jokes and they're just very stiff like country guys, and it's a good comedy show. It's very under the radar, but I haven't watched all of it, but it's pretty funny.
Interesting.
Nice. My honorable mention, I'm very much the same as AJ of like it's a good place to go for like catalog of old shows.
Yeah.
Honorable mention is CSI.
Ooh,
Nice.
Original one. Now this is not a binge show because there's like 17 seasons.
It's been on since the 80s.
So
Or the
it's
90s.
It's been on a while.
You'll jump in at some point and be fine.
They don't have cell phones in the first couple of seasons.
They really, or their old flip phones, like
Nokia bricks. And stuff.
That's why I love watching those old like 90s and 2000s TV shows. Like, hey, how's it going?
Yeah.
Right. Well, and for me, this was one of the shows I did watch it like when it first came on.
Yeah.
So like I actually am old school, and I have a lot of TV shows where I have all the DVDs. This is one that I have.
There's so like Paul used to have this like bookshelf of like all of his DVDs on it, and the top shelf was like TV shows. There's just like 75 CSI boxes. And I was like, oh my gosh, what is this show? It never ends.
How do they keep coming up with content?
I was like, how do they still make money?
Yeah.
Number 5 for me is Lost. I really like this show. It's kind of weird, 100% like weird. It kind of gets a little bit lost in the bushes at some point.
Fitting title.
It was one of the biggest shows on TV for a long time, though.
So a lot of documentaries and articles and kind of like television media people, whenever they talk about like the modern era of TV, like for the first time in history, TV is almost as popular as movies right now. Like,
right.
And Lost is a big reason why, because it was one of the first like network TV like shows that was binge worthy, even though they couldn't binge it because it was on TV once a week. But it was that kind of show that created this kind of platform for TV.
Yeah.
It's kind of J.J. Abrams' baby, at first. So I like that show a lot. Really weird ending. I will talk to anyone, anytime, anywhere about the ending of Lost. Any theories? Because I've heard them all, and they're amazing. I still don't know how I feel about it. I have a lot of theories on my own, but anyway, great show. Kind of funny, kind of intense, a lot of good cliffhangers and drama, just kind of a good classic TV show.
Nice. My number 5 is What We Do in the Shadows.
This is
the Netflix show.
Taika
Waititi. He's like
Tiki?
Taika Waititi.
How do you say his name? I say Tiki. Like
Tiki Torch Waititi.
Yeah, that's how I say it.
But Taika Waititi. It's based off his movie. What We Do in the Shadows, where him and
vampires.
Yeah, they play vampires that live together. It's very
Is the movie anywhere?
It's very British.
Tour?
That's something good to check on. Let me look. But no, the show, it stars, a whole new cast, and it's basically the same concept. All these guys live together. Probably my favorite thing from the show is one of the vampires. So they're all like the generic vampires, but then there's one, he's an energy vampire. And what he basically is just the boring guy in the office that just sits there and talks your ear off about whatever that you don't care about. But he's technically a vampire, so he lives with them, and they absolutely hate him. So like the first,
Jerry.
one of the episodes, they get like these virgins, who are the people that play? They LARPers, and so they get some LARPers, these virgins, to come in. They're gonna suck their blood, and they're preparing them for their boss to come in, and that's what they're gonna give them as offering. And they walk in there, and the energy vampire guy's just sitting there talking to them. They all get so pissed. They're like, "No, he got to him," and all this stuff. They absolutely hate that guy, and he's so weird and just like exactly the boring guy in the office that just talks about like nothing to you. And
Toby.
But yeah,
Toby.
That's my number 5. It is awesome.
That is hilarious. My number 5 is another little show that went on for a while called 24.
Yes, Jack Bauer.
I
could not get into the show,
dude.
It took me forever. Yeah.
It is like
it's a grind.
It's a grind for sure. And it's so crazy because it's Jack Bauer, CTU agent, counterterrorism.
And each season is one day.
And all these events happen in real time. So it's the beginning of every episode. So it literally is like
starts at midnight.
The craziest week. It's a different time every season.
Really? Okay.
But the first season starts really late in the evening, and then goes to really late in the evening the next day.
Yeah.
It's a really crazy concept.
Yeah,
but if you're like a super action freak, like when Jack Bauer goes crazy, he messes some dudes up.
Yeah.
So, like John Wick before John Wick.
Kind of, yeah. Again, also early 2000s, so the first couple seasons you're like, ugh.
Got the flip phone.
Yeah.
Number 4 for me is a show called The Last Ship. I feel like I've talked this before on the show, but it's kind of an interesting show. It's on TNT, maybe?
Is it TNT or USA?
It's one of the two.
I think it's TNT. I think you're right.
I think it's TNT too.
TNT knows drama.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah.
At least for the first 2 seasons of this is what I watched.
Yeah.
Yes.
Last Ship.
Yeah, I watched the first 2 seasons.
That's all I watched too.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So it's actually it gets a little hairy there in the middle, but the ending is pretty cool. Actually, I just watched the last season. I think it's season 4 or 5, but. It's like a doomsday apocalyptic show. The whole world dies from the flu, and basically,
wait a minute!
What the heck?
They actually die. They don't just like get quarantined.
They're not zombies or anything.
Yeah. Anyway, so he comes back with like the last ship, and they have the cure, but they have to figure out how to get the cure to everybody, and it gets kind of weird after that. But it's a cool show. It does a lot of fun things. It's really short, only 10 or 12 episodes a season. I really like the main character. He's a really great character.
He's a very good in that like kind of role. I think like
he's
leader
really,
captain.
He's really interesting. So.
He's my boy Adam Baldwin in it too. Firefly.
Yeah, I love Adam Baldwin. He's great in that show. So anyway, I like that show a lot. It's on Hulu.
Number 4.
Well, all these are on Hulu.
Well, I know that's just what I'm saying. Like, it's not one of my favorite shows of all time, but it's like a really good show for what Hulu has to offer.
I got it.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. My number 4 is Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Ooh, love Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Yes.
That's such a good show.
I put this in the same but category as you would put like The Office and Parks and Recreation.
Yes, dude, yeah.
The kind of cringy comedy in a way, and just the really like they always have the stupid characters on there, and
Boyle.
Yes, Boyle's awesome.
I love Boyle.
But no, it's a great show. Just takes place in the 99th precinct in New York.
Yep.
Brooklyn, obviously.
Yeah.
But who's the main actor? I can't. Why
Jake Peralta.
Jake Peralta.
Andy Samberg.
Andy Samberg.
Yeah.
I'm a big Andy Samberg fan, so this show
Love
speaks to my
Andy
soul.
Samberg. Yeah, he's so funny.
It's really good comedy.
Man, I love the cutscenes in this show. Whenever they cut to like the flashback.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, those are so funny. Number 3. Paul? Or is that number your 3?
That was my 4.
That was your 4. Okay, so
My number 4.
your 4.
Yep. Is another really old show that is a really surprising show probably that I even put on the list, but I actually really enjoyed it, is Golden Girls.
Golden Girls!
Are you serious?
Dude, I'm not kidding at all. My wife started watching it one night when we were sitting around watching nothing, And she's like, I want to watch this. And I was like, okay, whatever. I'm going to play on my computer or pull out my iPad
30 minutes later, Paul got the popcorn.
Read a book. And I mean, few minutes in, dude, I'm That's like busting a gut laughing at these 4 old crazy women that all live in this house together. And yes, not all of the jokes land because we weren't born in the 80s, but a lot of it is just, it reminds me of my grandmother's.
Yeah.
Like, that's what it reminds me of, just because I remember my grandmother watched this show, but like, I don't know. It just is funny, old people humor that is still somewhat funny today. Say what you will, fight me.
No,
about the Golden Girls.
I've never watched it. I've
seen the Golden Girls.
It's got some pretty funny parts.
Okay. Yeah. My number 3 is Seinfeld. Bro,
dude, I forgot that was on Hulu.
Show.
Dang it.
It is such a good show. Like, I've talked to people about this all the time. They're like, it's so old. You can't watch that. It's so old.
Oh, no,
I'm
great.
like, guys, it's old. And there's some, like, time-sensitive jokes.
I can hear that bass riff for the rest of my life.
Dude, it is such a good show. Like, George Costanza is one of the best characters on TV ever. Like, that guy is so...
Kramer, dude.
Oh, and then Kramer's hilarious. Oh, dude. I mean, that show is so funny. I could talk about Seinfeld for a long time.
My favorite episode is the Kenny Rogers Chicken Shack opens up across.
He's like, wow.
The light, man. I gotta get away from the light.
The light. My favorite episode is The Marine Biologist.
Yeah.
So, have you seen the show?
I've seen Seinfeld.
Okay,
yeah.
So
it's been a while.
George pretends to be a marine biologist to get this girl to go out with him, and he's kind of in the clear. The girl has no idea. And they're going on a romantic walk on the beach, and there's this big crowd of people out in front of them, and they don't know what's happening. And then they get closer, and there's a beached whale. And Larry David is the writer on the show. And so he gets out, and he says, is anybody here a marine biologist? And George is like, oh, my gosh. And the girlfriend's like, George is a marine biologist. And George is like, oh, my gosh, what am I supposed to do? And so then all we see is George roll up his sleeves and just walk out into the ocean and then dive in the water. We're like, okay. And it cuts to the coffee shop, and they're just sitting there. This is the best ending to an episode ever. And they're sitting there, and Jerry's like, what happened? You got to tell us a story. And then George goes on this epic monologue. And it's amazing. You can YouTube. It's like 2 minutes long. At the very end, he goes, I put my hand in the blowhole and I pulled out the obstruction. And earlier in the episode, Kramer had been stealing golf balls off a driving range, taking them to the beach and hitting them out in the ocean. So he pulls out the obstruction and he holds up a golf ball. And Kramer's just like, oh. And Kramer's like, what is that, a Titleist? And he's like, yep. He's like, I guess there's a hole in one. And then the episode ends and you're like, oh my gosh, it is so Just Google up marine biologist YouTube, and literally 2 minutes long. It is so funny, dude. Love Seinfeld. I can talk about this show forever. At lunch, whenever I go to lunch at work, I work at a school. Shout out to ZHA. With a couple of older people, because I'm very young there compared to the other teachers. Most of the teachers there are my dad's age or older, the guy teachers, and they all love Seinfeld. So I can't talk to them about Parks and Rec, but I can talk about Seinfeld. And we talk about Seinfeld almost once or twice a week at lunch. And there's one teacher in particular who loves it, and we talk about it all the time.
That's awesome.
That's a great show. I love Seinfeld.
Number 3?
Yes.
My number 3 is Bob's Burgers.
Oh,
Bob's Burgers.
Bob's Burgers. So,
I cannot do the adult
animated comedy,
bro.
but it's not one of those like adult ones though. It's not like, it's nothing like Family Guy.
It's not near as bad, even though Family Guy's my favorite.
Yeah, it's nothing like American Dad or any of that stuff. It's very much more clean comedy.
Yeah,
it's still kind of the dumb. I think one of my favorite episodes is the Thanksgiving one where Bob goes to the supermarket to get a turkey, and they keep messing it up, so he has to keep going back.
Yes.
And the guy that keeps selling turkey's like, all right, what's going on here? Because he thinks Bob's in love with him, and he keeps coming back like during the day or stuff. And so he's like, man, are we really doing this? He starts taking off his his apron because he thinks Bob likes him, and he thinks they're gonna like run away together. And he's like, we're really doing this, huh? He says, Bob, I'm going on break. And then they leave, and Bob's like, no. And so that's one of my favorite episodes. But man, Bob's Burgers is stinking good.
I've heard from a lot of people that's funny.
It's good.
I need to try it.
It's like kind of some of the awkward comedy, and no, it's good. I love Bob's Burgers. But Danielle and I are actually gonna rewatch it. I was mentioning when I was sitting here making my list, I was like, Danielle, let's watch Bob's Burgers again. She's like, please. I was like,
nice.
Yeah.
Number 3?
My number 3 is How I Met Your Mother.
Classic.
Dude.
Classic.
So good. Even though a lot of people are not huge fans of the very end of the show, which I'm one of them.
You're not a fan?
I'm not a fan of the way the show ended, like very last episode ended. But everything else is just solid gold, in my opinion.
Do you find out who the mother is?
Yes.
I'm just kidding.
I was about to say, have you not seen?
I'm just kidding. Sorry. That was not that funny. It was funny. It was funnier in my head.
Yes, of course, the beef with everybody is that you don't find out who the actual mother is for like 7 seasons. Yeah. But in my opinion, I don't care.
Yeah. It's just funny.
It's just a funny story, a good group of... Yeah. It's a newer generation's version of Friends.
Yeah. That's a good way to put it.
And so I really enjoy it. I mean... Barney's
the best character.
Yeah. I also really love Marshall and Lily. Their dynamic is great. Robin and Ted are also funny, but dude, so good.
Yeah. Marshall and Barney for sure. Number 2 for me is Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Dude, also my number 2.
Number 2. 99. I could talk about Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Like literally, we should do a bonus feature for every one of these sitcoms we've been talking about because they're so funny. Like Seinfeld should get one, Parks and Rec should get one, The Office should get one, Brooklyn Nine-Nine should get one. When you watch Community, that should get one. That's like 5 bonus features right there. If I ever watch Bob's Burgers, we could do one about that. But dude, like I could talk about Brooklyn Nine-Nine forever. It's so creative. It takes The Office and Parks and Rec's model, twists it a little bit, changes kind of some of the dynamics, but it follows the same idea, the same basic setup, and it is so good. Like the captain, Sarge, Boyle, even Rosa. Oh my gosh! And then obviously Jake is hilarious. Yes. I'm not a huge fan of Amy. She's funny. Like she has funny moments.
She gets better.
She does get better. She's annoying early.
Early seasons, yeah.
My favorite character on the whole show is
Hitchcock and Scully.
The Pontiac Bandit. Dude, I live for the Pontiac Bandit episodes. Like the Halloween Heist episodes are hilarious.
Yes.
But the Pontiac Bandit episodes, I literally will rewatch those.
Yeah.
They are so funny because he falls for it every time. And you want to believe him every time. Like I'm like, Jake, don't do it. And then I'm like, oh, this is the one. This is the one where they become friends. And this is the one where he actually is a good guy. And you're like, oh my gosh, no, he didn't do it.
Are you caught up all the way?
I have watched all the way through season 6. It was 7 right now.
Yes.
I've not watched anything in season 7.
There's a new Pontiac Bandit episode.
Oh, dude, I can't wait. I need to watch it. I love Parks and Rec too. I love Brooklyn Nine-Nine, and I love the side characters. Hitchcock and Scully are also... Okay, so I would go Pontiac Bandit, maybe Hitchcock and Scully, 2 / Captain Holt. Like those 3 for me are the best 3 of the show. And then Boyle's obviously really great. And Jake's funny too. But dude, the side characters on that show they kill me.
I agree.
Oh man. Number 2.
Number 2 for me is a 1-season show called Firefly.
Yes, I thought
you were gonna go there. Boy.
Yeah, one of my favorite shows of all time.
I didn't know that was on Hulu either. Dang.
Yeah, watch it.
It is so stinking good. Or I don't know if it's good. I just love it.
Who cares if it's good? I
love it with all my heart.
That's how I feel about Cece's.
I'm currently reading the novels.
That's how I feel about Cece's. I don't care if it's good. I like it.
Yeah. I love that show, but yeah, it's a space western. Captain Malcolm Reynolds, played by
Nathan Fillion.
Fillion, yeah.
He leads this all-star cast with Alan Tudyk's on there too, Gina Torres. But no, it's good. Malcolm Reynolds, everyone's so charismatic. You love every single character in their own right. But no, it's great.
It was such a good show that it got canceled.
Well, no, it was set up for failure.
I'm just kidding. I know.
Fox aired the episodes out of order.
I know. I'm just kidding. Giving you a hard time. That's one of the things I talk about in Community all the time.
Really?
They talk about Firefly, and I don't get the jokes, but I assume that they're really funny jokes because Abed's like, they canceled Firefly, and Troy's like, calm down, Abed, it's okay.
But once you finish Firefly, watch Serenity, the movie.
Yes.
Which is kind of
ties it up.
It's kind of a spin-off ending.
And show's created by Joss Whedon, so if you're a Joss Whedon fan, check it out.
Avengers, right?
Yep, Buffy the Vampire Slayer and half of Justice League.
Oof.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say.
Big oof. Number 2.
Well, my number 2 is Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Okay. Great show. Who's your favorite character?
My favorite character is...
Dude, I forgot about Gina. I love Gina.
Gina is hilarious.
I forgot about her.
My favorite character is probably Terry.
Oh, dude, I love Terry.
Terry loves yogurt.
Yeah.
Like, what?
Episode where he eats all those like chocolates and he gets really kind of fat. Like everyone gets addicted to it. That's so good.
Dude,
I love it when he refers to himself in the third person. Every single time I laugh. Every time. And Kylie's like, why are you laughing? I'm like, it's hilarious. Like, how do you not laugh? It's so funny.
So Jane and I are caught up. We watch it every week on Hulu because, again, it keeps the new episodes coming. On this last episode, it was so funny. The power goes out in the whole city of Brooklyn. And... he's a lieutenant now, but Terry and Holt get stuck in the elevator, and Holt is deathly afraid of being trapped in an elevator.
Love it.
And so Terry convinces him to a way to take his mind off of it is to teach Captain Holt dance moves, 80s hip hop dance moves. And it is hilarious.
Those two guys together are so funny.
I love it.
Dude, I love that show so much. I could talk about that show forever. Number one for me is Prison Break. I love this show, dude. It is so good. Like, I know some people don't like it, and it does have a weak spot in the middle. Season 3 in particular. Season 1 is outstanding. Season 4 is also really, really good. Season 2 takes a dip, and then Season 3 is obviously the lowest point. 4. Or actually, 5. The 5th one just came out.
That's
the show ran for 4 years in the early 2000s, and then Fox,
then they took a break, and then came back.
It got so popular on Netflix and on Hulu.
Really?
That the cast and the crew and the studios and the producers all got together and said, hey, let's make a 5th season. So they made a 5th season. There's a huge plot twist. Don't want to spoil the show.
I probably won't watch it. So
yeah, don't worry about it. Anyway, season 5 kind of ties that up. Like season 4 ends on a huge thing, and season 5 kind of brings that back and tells you what happens and stuff.
Ooh.
So it's pretty good. Season 5 is okay. It's not great, but it's good. Anyway, it's a great show. Just watch the pilot episode if you're interested. It's outstanding. And then season 1, obviously, in my opinion, is the best season.
Yeah.
So you could end after season 1 and be good. If you can live with yourself. I mean, you got to keep watching. Wow. It's so good. But anyway, season 1 is awesome. It is so cool. Such a cool show. Like this architectural engineer gets thrown in prison on purpose to get his brother out of prison, and he's one of the people who designed the prison. So he has the blueprints, and he knows all about everything, and he's trying to figure out a way to escape. And it's awesome. It's so interesting.
My number one is also my number one show of all time. Scrubs.
I figured that was going to be
easy money.
Easy.
I would have bet my mortgage on that one.
Easy. But no, man, this show is so stinking good. It's funny. It's dramatic. It has everything rolled up into one, and the writing and the premise of the show is so unique. How he has all these daydreams and stuff. I mean, the show's also self-aware. Like it'll make fun of itself, but no, you'll be laughing at one moment, and all of a sudden you'll be crying by the end of the episode because of something that happened.
Classic.
And it's wrapped up so nicely in season 8. We'll leave season 9 out of this for now.
That's what I was going to ask you about. Season 9.
Season 9 was supposed to be a spin-off that the network made them make it a tie-in to the actual show, and so it kind of lost its shine there because of that, because it was supposed to be a spin-off. And that's if you haven't noticed with the last couple of my shows, that's the networks are the ones that ruin them. Firefly and then Scrubs season 9. But no, 8 wraps it up perfectly. So watch the first 8. You can watch 9 if you just want some more. 9's not bad at all by any means. It's just not a good tie-in to the show, I think. But yeah, Scrubs is fantastic.
Nice.
Number 1?
My number 1 is Blackish. Anthony Anderson is the main character.
He's funny.
He's hilarious, but he's he works for a big marketing company in LA. And he actually is very successful and things like that. But he's got a family. His wife and his mom lives with them, and they live in a very nice neighborhood. But their kids are all spoiled and things like that. And so he's very traditionally he was raised poor, lived in Compton and stuff like that. And so his kids are spoiled, and there's a lot of lessons in there of no, we don't need to be worrying about all this rich white people stuff. But it's also hilarious on the other side of that. But his wife is also mixed, so it makes it even funnier because her dad is white, and she brings a lot of the like white aspects into the family, and he's like, "No, we're not doing any of this stupid stuff," and it's hilarious. Lawrence Fishburne plays his dad. He's a really minor role because he's not there all the time. But it's a hilarious show. I really enjoy it. There's been a lot of spinoffs on it, and I haven't watched any of them. There's like one that's all about his wife's name is Rainbow because her parents were hippies. But they just call her Bo. But it's about her growing up, and it's called Mixed-ish.
I've seen that advertised, yeah.
And there's one that's about their daughter, and it's Grownish is what it's called. It's where she goes off to college.
Becoming an empire.
Yeah,
it's a really popular show. Yeah,
it's a really popular show. I enjoy it. I would say watch at least the first couple episodes.
It's still on TV, right?
It's still on TV. Yeah,
on ABC?
Think so.
Yeah,
I'm not caught up, but I need to because it's hilarious.
Have either of y'all? Okay, so we're done with TV shows, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Have either of y'all watched the Walmart show? What's it called? Supermarket or Superstore or something like that?
I want to. I've seen a couple episodes on TV, but I haven't watched Superstore. Yeah,
that's what it's called. I haven't watched it either. I've heard it's awesome, but I haven't watched it. So anyway, I just want to know if you guys have watched it. Okay, top 5 movies.
Movies.
For me, my honorable mention is Parasite. I
almost threw that on there.
I put it on there. We talked about this. We had a whole episode on Parasite. If you haven't watched it or listened to it, I like this movie. I don't think it deserves all of the accreditations and accommodations and whatever else. It's all the awards. I mean, it's insane how many awards it's won. I don't think it deserves that, but it was a good movie. I did enjoy it, and I'm glad that a network picked it up. That a streaming service picked it up. I think it deserves to be on one.
Easy place to watch it.
Yeah. So I'm glad it's on there. I would recommend watching it. It's a very different movie. Yes. Very unique in a lot of ways. I did enjoy it, but like I said, I think it's a little bit overrated. But I did include it because I did enjoy it.
Yeah. My honorable mention is a documentary called Free Solo, which
we were talking about that earlier.
Well, yeah, it's on Disney Plus, right?
It's on Disney Plus, but I also think it's on Netflix, which I realized driving over here. I was thinking about it. I was like, wait, I think that's on almost everything.
Well, still,
but
National Geographic.
Yeah, I watched it on Hulu, so that's where I'm.
There you go.
Making its home, but yeah, no, it's just about. My gosh.
Which mountain did he climb?
Yeah, Half Dome. No, not Half Dome. Man. I'm having such a hard time right now.
He free climbed it by himself with no ropes and no nothing. I remember that part. I remember.
Hold on, I'm Googling it.
El Capitan?
It's El Cap. Yeah, it's El Cap.
Okay.
Golly, I rock climbed for 8 years and I can't remember any of this. But no, it's about his journey of climbing that without any ropes, all just in one go at it, no stopping. But no, it's a great journey.
Super impressive.
900-meter vertical rock face.
Yeah.
Dang.
That's insane.
That's crazy.
With
no ropes.
Yeah.
Just walks up and starts going.
Yeah, that's insane.
Wow.
That's.
My honorable mention is Hitch.
Yeah, Will Smith.
Will Smith.
Callie was watching this the other night by herself.
Oh, you don't like this movie?
It's okay. I was watching something else.
I got you. Dude, I think this movie is hilarious. Kevin James,
yeah.
He makes the movie.
I go 90, you go 10.
I don't go away.
I don't go 100. Yeah, that's a great scene.
Nasty.
Yeah, that's a great scene.
I love it. It's
on the jet ski when he reaches the leg over and he kicks her in the face.
Yeah,
that's a good one.
Will Smith is a guy who gives dating advice to all these men and actually helps them get married and everything like that. He does it the right way and all this stuff, but he sucks at dating himself.
Yeah, he's terrible. Yeah.
Because I love the scene where they go to this cooking class and he gets this allergic reaction and his whole face swells up and he's just like, oh.
Yeah, he looks in the
mirror
at the store. Yeah. That's a good one. Number 5 for me is a movie called Wonder with Owen Wilson. This is the one where his son has
the kid with the messed up face,
the deformed face, and he wears like a NASA spacesuit helmet to school every day because he doesn't want anybody looking at his face because he's embarrassed about it. And it's really good.
I hadn't even heard of it. Really
good. It'll make you feel in the soul. It's
lots of feels.
Cuts deep. And especially as a parent, for me personally, it kind of cut in a different angle than it would have otherwise, but still it is sharp, dude. Because kids are jerks, in general people are jerks, and so it's kind of about that. It's about how to handle that from the bullied like being bullied side of things, but it's also kind of about bullying in general and why it's a horrible thing to do. Yeah. It's just so inhumane for so many reasons. But anyway, so it's a great movie from that aspect, but it's also just a great story. For real. And then Owen Wilson, I think kills it. He does a great job. So it's a good one.
My number 5 is Zombieland.
Nice.
The first one. So this is one of my go-to movies. Like I could watch it any moment. Because I like zombie movies a lot. I watch this movie like anytime. Like Woody Harrelson's awesome. Like Emma Stone, she's great in it.
I was not a fan of what's his name? The main guy.
Columbus?
Steak. Yeah.
I always call him Mark Zuckerberg, but it's
Eisenberg?
Jesse Eisenberg. Yeah. It's good, but no, it's like
okay.
Zombie apocalypse happens like real day times. Just like it's a comedy too, so it's funny.
Oh yeah,
and Bill Murray's great in it. His part in it, and I really love the theme park at the end. Like you see. Tallahassee does some cool stuff with some pistols, and this is one you don't have to think about at all.
Not at all.
You sit down and enjoy it. Yes. Is like the whole thing.
It's insane. It is crazy.
I love that movie. Second one's okay. It's not bad. It's not great, but first one for sure.
It's solid.
Nice. What are we on, number 5?
Yes.
Yeah.
I've lost so much track right now. Is Kill Bill. Both
first one, second one?
Both of them.
Combined?
They are both on there.
Volume 1 and 2.
Yep.
I thought you were going to include that on there.
I really enjoy these movies, not just because they're Tarantino. Yes, they are a little out there because it's like a modern day. It's like he threw a modern day kung fu movie with an anime and made it into a live action movie.
Hey, I'm cool with it.
Because you haven't seen it, right?
No.
No? Well, one of the first big fight scenes is the bride, because that's her name for most of the movie, because you don't know her real name until like the very end of part 2. She fights the crazy 88, and it is insane. Like the soda can blood is a big beef with a lot of people. Yes, it looks weird. If you get past that, it's a crazy scene because it's like in like a restaurant in Japan, and they're just like coming out of everywhere. She's slicing people, all kinds of crazy. And it looks like an anime is what it really looks like. So, but the rest of the whole story is, she was getting married and she was an hit woman for Bill. And she left because she wanted to get married, and Bill didn't like that. And he comes and actually shoots her, and kills her. But she survives and is like, I got to kill Bill. And she's going to kill the other 4 or 5 assassin people that were on the same team because they were all part of the plot to kill her. So it actually it's a crazy story, but I enjoy it.
Nice.
Tintin Quarantino. You heard that joke yet?
No.
It's pretty funny. There's a couple of memes of his face. It's
Quarantino.
It says Quarantino. It's pretty funny. Number 4 for me is Mission Impossible Fallout. I think that's the one that's on there. I forget which one.
Yeah, it's Fallout.
I think it's Fallout. Anyway, I like Mission Impossible movies. I think they're great. There's obviously not, in my opinion, there's not that many great movies on Hulu. I think Hulu is very much a TV show streaming service, in my opinion. So I kind of include some of the movies I picked are not my favorite movies, but they're good movies that are on there. So this is one of those. I just like the movie, put it on my list. So
okay. Number 4 for me is Warrior.
Oh yeah,
I mentioned this movie a couple times in top 5s and stuff. I think, and it's a very solid under the radar.
Yep.
I've said it before. The two brothers fight each other. One's in for the money. One's in it for other reasons. And it's a great story of two brothers. Both in it for different reasons, and it all culminates at the end. And very crazy way. But no, it's a good movie.
Interesting point that AJ just made of there's not a whole lot of movies on there, it seems like, and both of the movies that you guys just mentioned are on my Prime list.
Nice.
So they're not on this list, they're on the other list. Stay tuned for that episode.
Nice.
My number 4 is Good Will Hunting.
It's my number 3.
Dude, I love this movie. I've not seen it very many times. I've seen it probably 5 or 6 times over the years. But it's such a crazy, interesting, intellectual story about a guy in... Is it MIT or is it Harvard? It's one of the big universities in Boston, and the movie is actually written by Matt Damon and Ben Affleck. Mm-hmm. But it's Matt Damon's like a janitor, and I'm sure you've probably heard the story.
It's the chalkboard scene.
Yeah, he walks by this chalkboard.
In Community.
That's funny. They make fun of it in Parks and Rec too at one point.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, so he walks by and he solves this crazy math problem. Yeah. And the professor sees him. He's like, "Oh my God, you're a genius." Yeah. And it's Skarsgård.
Yeah. Alan Skarsgård. Or whatever his name. Aaron Sorkin.
Chernobyl himself.
The guy from Chernobyl. Yeah. Who we just did another bonus feature on. Shout out to that. But he notices him because he's the professor and takes him to Robin Williams' character, who just kind of mentors him and is like, "Why are you a janitor?" kind of thing. And I just love it. The interactions with him and Robin Williams are what make the whole movie. You could just watch those scenes and just make a movie about that, and I'd be in. I'd be so done. It's good. It's great.
Good Will Hunting is my number 3, and like Paul said, it's a great movie. I think Robin Williams won an Oscar for this movie.
Yep.
Last week or 2 weeks ago, we did top 5 movie speeches of all time. And I included the bench scene with Robin Williams talking about love and war and whatever else. I included that speech on my list, and honestly, one of the reasons I love this movie so much is because of that scene. Yeah, Paul already talked about it. I love this movie. It's a great movie if you haven't seen it.
Was your number 3?
Yep.
My number 3 is Mission Impossible Fallout.
Oh, nice.
I really like this movie a lot.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, I'll talk about it in our next episode, apparently, because I didn't realize it was on Hulu.
This is my favorite Mission Impossible movie. It has a 97 on Rotten Tomatoes.
Wow.
That's a good one.
No, it's good. And Henry Cavill's in it.
Yeah.
My boy, The Witcher. He plays a great villain in it. And
really does.
The way he cocks his guns, his biceps in the bathroom is
I love
iconic.
How everybody just craps on that, and I'm like, what's the big deal?
I love it. But no, this is some peak Mission Impossible for me. I like all the Mission Impossible movies.
Cool movies.
But this one's my absolute favorite, just because it feels like a long time coming kind of thing, like him seeing his wife again, and there's a lot to it.
I need to sit down and watch all of them in order again sometime. I haven't done that.
That's what I did one day. I watched the one before this, was a Ghost Protocol.
Yeah.
And I watched this one. I watched that in one sitting, and it was probably one of my favorite evenings I've had, just watching those two.
That's cool.
But yeah, Mission Impossible Fallout, great.
Good. Number 3.
My number 3 is Zombieland.
Nice,
dude. I agree with Luke. I haven't seen this movie in a while, but it is one. I do enjoy movies where you don't have to think at all.
Yep.
But I also really, really enjoy intellectual movies. So that's, Good Will Hunting, where this Zombieland is, you don't have to think at all. It's just sit down, watch, and laugh. And probably one of the crazy, goriest opening scenes of any movie I've ever.
Yeah.
And I'm just kind of okay, my stomach's churning a little bit.
So nasty.
But I just love the very beginning of this movie where he's in his apartment, and he's or it's like a flashback to his apartment where he's making all the rules.
Yeah.
And he's like,
the rules are the best part of that movie.
The rule, because he's he goes on a date, and then the double tap, and he's make sure that they're dead.
Yeah. He's just sitting there and drinking Code Red Mountain Dew and eating
that.
Yeah. My number 2 is The Book of Eli. Is that your number 2? Let's go.
Heck yeah.
Have you had that on your list too?
Nope.
Oh, okay.
But heck yeah.
So Paul and I can talk about it. Number 2 is Book of Eli. This is probably, I'm not going to say it's my favorite Denzel movie. It's one of them. One of my favorite apocalyptic movies for sure.
Yeah.
Really underrated in a lot of circles, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I really enjoy this movie. Gary Oldman plays a great bad guy. He's such a great actor for so many reasons. But so I love this movie. It's super interesting. It's kind of a slow burn. It feels very much drawn out in a lot of ways. It's kind of slow for spans, and then there's a lot of action kind of in bursts.
Yeah.
But it's really good. I like this movie a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, you want me to go ahead and talk about it?
Sure. Go ahead.
Okay. So, for those of you that haven't seen it, major spoiler alert, but I love the twist of, and after you watch it the second and third and 50 millionth time after that, it's very easy to pick up on that he's blind the whole time.
Really high rewatchability.
Very high. Because, even at the very beginning, where he's going through this little house and everything, he's, you see him like pick up something and then shake it or something or other and sit it down, and you're like, oh, he can't see that's empty. He has to
look at it.
But like, I loved that twist. Yeah. It's so good.
He never shoots first.
Yep,
and always waits for something to happen. Always has to wait for.
Yep. But I love that. Yep. One of the coolest scenes I think I've seen in a movie is where he's fighting those guys under the bridge with that machete. But he's in the dark. Dude, so cool. Yeah. But yeah, Very Old Man did a good job. Mila Kunis is in there. Yeah. She does a good job.
Yeah, she does a good job.
And for it to be an interesting, crazy story of modern day times, to have the main focus of it really to be a Bible is also really cool to me. You know,
well, it's such a classic pilgrimage story. Like, it's such a classic hero journey.
Right.
You know?
Right.
Kind of across the United States.
No, that's a very good choice. I love the Book of Eli.
2.
Number 2 for me is Hunt for the Wilder People. Mentioned this movie last week.
We talked about this like 4 days ago.
Yeah.
Oh man,
I don't remember this. Why do I not remember this?
He mentioned it on what he's been watching.
Is what I've been watching. Yeah, but it's a Taika Waititi movie.
It's weird.
You know, the foster kid moves in with the parents. One of them dies, and it's the old man's really not about having a foster kid or anything, like getting close to him, and so they go on this journey together. It's like through the woods, and they think the old man kidnapped him, so all these people are after him at the same, but the two bond. Very different types of people. One's just a bratty kid that gets in a lot of trouble. That's why he's in foster care. And then the old man's not about it. And so it's them, coming to terms with each other and going on this journey and becoming like a family in a sense. It's a touching movie. Danielle loves that movie. After we watched it, she says, I really like that. But no, it's more Taika Waititi. I'm a big fan of his. So
nice.
Okay, I'm going to go out on a limb and say we all have the same number 1.
Want to say it all at once?
Really?
1, 2, 3. A
Quiet Place.
Let's go. I called it. Dude. I called it. Best movie on Hulu by a mile, in my opinion. This is the only movie that is anywhere close to my top 25 of all time. It's in all of our top 25s, actually. I think it was so. Paul gave it a 50 on the show.
Yep.
Yeah.
We actually have a whole show on this movie by itself in the previous podcast.
Check it out.
But Paul gave it a 50, which I think I gave it like a 45. I mean, we all gave it like 45s or higher.
It was high 40s.
I think this is the highest movie we've ever done on the show together collectively by average. Great movie. One of the best movies in recent memory, for sure. I really like this movie a lot.
John Krasinski directs it great, acts great. The whole concept of it is...
Oh, yeah.
It's freaking tension like no other throughout.
Yeah, no doubt.
Freaking having a heart attack at every sound.
It's only an hour and a half, so it's not long enough to make you like, oh my gosh, will this movie end? It's so short that you're like, you're there and you can actually survive like that amount of tension for that long. If it's much longer than that, you can't really do it.
One of the craziest emotional opening scenes.
Yeah,
opening sequences.
Doubt. Brutal. Brutal.
But no,
that was on my top opens for sure.
Can't wait for the second one whenever that's happening.
Right.
Sometime this year after Rome has left us.
Yeah, no, great movie. Anything to
add? No, I mean, my only add is go listen to that episode. We talk about it for over an hour and a half.
If you haven't seen it yet, this is pretty good company right here for all three of us to have it as the best thing on Hulu.
Agreed.
Okay, last question on Hulu. We'll wrap it up. Best thing that we haven't talked about yet could be a Netflix or not Netflix. Could be a Hulu original. Could be a Netflix original, I guess, if you want to talk about that. Could be a Hulu original. Could be a TV show, a movie, whatever you want. For me, the best thing that I haven't brought up yet on Hulu is a Hulu original called 11/22/63, and it's a mini series featuring James Franco, and it's based on a Stephen King novel.
Yeah,
where he goes back in time into the 60s to prevent the assassination of JFK. It's only 8 episodes, maybe 10, and it is really stinking good. Really, really good. I like James Franco a lot, but it's such a good story and they do such a really interesting thing with the time traveling. If you come back to the present, then everything you did in the past resets.
Is gone, yeah.
And so he has to stay in the past if he wants to affect change.
Dang.
And sometimes the change that he does is worse than it was. So he's got to be really careful. And there's a lot of weird things that happen in the show, but it's a great show. So, anything else, anybody?
I have one. This is another Stephen King related thing, but Castle Rock.
Yeah.
So it's basically like, it takes place in Castle Rock, Maine, where some of the Stephen King's takes place. But it's almost like this is a culmination of all like Stephen King's work. Like you hear stuff about like Cujo and all that. So it's basically someone like living in like Stephen King's world. It's just, if you're a Stephen King fan, like any of his like stuff like It or whatnot, it's a recommendation because it's all about his universe. But it's a show. It's a drama, I guess.
I'll have to check that out.
Yeah.
I have a couple things, and I've got one more thing to add. Best thing another thing on Hulu that didn't qualify as best or whatever is actually, believe it or not, a show called The Masked Singer. It's a new it's like an American Idol TV kind of style thing, but all of the singers are all famous people, and they're all wearing these crazy costumes and these crazy masks. And my wife and I started it because like season 1 mainly because we're like, this is the most crazy looking thing we've ever seen, because it was before Tiger King, and we were like, okay, we got to just check it out once.
Yeah.
And we saw it, and the singing is amazing. And then some of the people that they have, like, that are actually on the show, like, person who won the first season was T-Pain.
Yeah.
Who you're not really,
he's a legit good singer.
He's a legit singer. He's very good. The one person who just got voted off for this season last week that we just watched was Bret Michaels from Poison.
Nice.
But some of the other Gronk was on this season. It's a crazy show, but it's hilarious. Ken Jeong is one of the judges, with Jenny McCarthy and Robin Thicke and Nicole Scherzinger, and they're hilarious. But it's an interesting show for those of you that
like. Have you guessed any of them correctly?
Not this season, but before. Last season, Daughtry was one of them, and Jane and I have both seen him twice.
His voice is pretty iconic.
And we were like, that's Daughtry. Yeah. I got Wayne Brady right.
Oh, nice. I love Wayne Brady.
That's funny.
The one who was Bret Michaels that just got voted off because they disguise their voice when they're talking, because they do like these big clue packages and everything like that, has this apparently, until didn't know, I thought it was Larry the Cable Guy the whole time, because they have the same cadence in the way they talk normally. And I was like, this is Larry the Cable Guy for sure, just by the way he talked. And some of the clues were like, but then it got to like rock star clues, and I was like, that's not Larry the Cable Guy.
Yeah.
Interesting. But it's a crazy.
I was wanting to watch that show. Then I saw how they do the reveals, and I said, nope. Where they do the whole like camera around him, they can't get the helmet off or whatever.
Yeah, it's pretty fake. And Sarah Palin was one of them.
Oh, that's weird.
Like they've got a lot.
Nice.
The first person that got voted off of this season was Lil Wayne. Like a lot of them are really interesting, but then they get like a lot of good like old singers. Like Shaka Khan was one. So it's an interesting, worth the watch, at least for a couple episodes.
Do they sing covers of other songs and stuff, or what?
Right. Yeah. It's all like
they sing popular songs.
Yeah. You'll know most of the songs.
That's cool.
But then last thing is, what are we gonna watch on Hulu next?
So to be honest, I actually deleted my Hulu account whenever I got Disney Plus,
aka nothing.
So I made these lists off of because I had Hulu for like 3 or 4 years.
Yeah.
So I made these lists off of my previous Hulu viewing.
Okay.
But in order to get Disney
that's
Plus,
why you're not watching Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Yeah. So that's why I'm not watching Brooklyn Nine-Nine. It would be Brooklyn Nine-Nine though. That would be my answer if I were going to give an answer. So I'll pretend that I'm still going to watch it on Hulu. I probably won't watch it on Hulu. I'll probably watch it on Fox now or whatever it's called.
Yeah. Do you have one, Luke, or you want me to go?
I have one.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm planning on watching Into the Dark next. Which the premise for this show is, it's the theme of each episode is inspired by a holiday during the month of its release.
Whoa.
Yeah. So it's but it's like a scary kind of story thing.
Huh.
Interesting.
Yeah. So I'm gonna check that out for sure, because it kind of sounds like that Quibi show.
Yeah, the States
in
of
a
Fright.
way. Yeah. But
mine is McMillions. It's an HBO, I think, show, but it's about the whole. Remember how McDonald's did that whole like Monopoly thing, the Monopoly game?
Yeah.
Apparently, there's like some big conspiracy behind it, and nobody's ever actually won it, and all this junk stuff.
Yeah.
And I've heard a bunch of people talking about it, so I was like, okay, I need to watch this.
Yeah.
So that's it's like a little mini series documentary thing.
Interesting.
Sounds good.
So
cool.
That it?
Fun stuff.
Anything else, fellas?
That's all I got.
Nope. All right. Well, that was our episode on Hulu. Thank you guys for listening. We'll catch you next time. Yeah. Goodbye.